right, folks, welcome aboard the Thursday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. And of course, if you're me and you go to bed late last night, we found out about the horrific shooting at a very historic church, a black church in South Carolina, in Charleston to be specific. And this morning they captured the 21-year-old suspect, Dylan Roof. This appears to be nothing but the work of a racist, a bigot, a murderer, a psychopath who sat in that church for over an hour praying with the people who were in that building, and then opened fire. And he purposely, reportedly left a woman alive so that she could tell the story of what happened. Apparently the murderer said that to her, and in fact she was spared, as was a 5-year-old girl who played dead. And I guess Roof, if you noticed her at all, thought she had been shot and did not pursue shooting the 5-year-old. So, you know, 2 people surviving out of that massacre. This 21-year-old apparently had 2 arrests previously, and for his birthday was given by his parents a .45 caliber pistol as a birthday present. I don't know if that's the exact gun he used in the shooting. I couldn't tell you that offhand. So that's where we are. He was apprehended 240 miles away from the scene in North Carolina. Before we go to Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, president of Bond, Brotherhood organization of New Destiny, I just want to I want you to hear the governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley.
And the heart and soul of South Carolina was broken. And so we have some grieving too. And we've got some pain we have to go through. Parents are having to explain to their kids how they can go to church and feel safe. And that's not something we ever thought we'd deal with. Having said that, we are a strong and faithful state. We love our state, we love our country, most importantly, we love each other. And I will tell you, there's a lot of prayer in this state. And so you are going to see all of us try and lift these 9 families up in prayer because they need us.
All right, joining us now is the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. And by the way, Bond is holding its 6th annual conference on fatherhood in men Saturday, June 20th. And you could check that all out at bondinfo.org. Reverend, just a horror in South Carolina.
Yeah, a sad situation all around, Steve. Sad for the innocent people who were killed, who were murdered in that church. It's sad for their families who have to endure the pain of losing their loved ones. It's also sad for the race in this country, in that this is going to continue to divide us rather than unite us. It should not be that way, but it will. Al Sharpton, for example, according to ABC, or CBS, I believe, is on his way to South Carolina. President Barack Obama gave a little press conference on this morning, and he made a reference to the church burning and shooting back in the late 50s, early 60s, as though one relate to the other one. He also implied that racism is still an issue in America today for black people from white folks, when it's absolutely not true. You have the Department of Justice and others calling it a hate crime even before they knew, before the dust settled. They call it a hate crime, which is encouraging or clarifying or verifying for a lot of angry black people that racism is a problem. I think that it's just a sad, sad situation. The race hustlers are going to have a field day. And another quick point I want to make is that it was reported, at least one report, that the man that killed these people said to them before killing them that black people have been raping and killing our people, or raping our women and killing them, and this is like a payback. And I've been saying to white Americans for the last 25 years, warning them that you need to start speaking up instead of holding that anger in, because you could get so angry that you come out fighting in the wrong manner.
All right, well, let me interject to that you're accurate. That is a report that he told the victims, or said, you know, this is payback, or you've been, you know, you people have been raping our women and committing crimes, etc. But what do you mean? What How would you suggest a white person who feels that way speak out so it doesn't get bottled up inside? Who would they speak out to, and at what risk to themselves?
Well, you know, they need to speak out to the country, to Black Americans, and tell them, I am not a racist. I am not your problem. You need to take care of your own life or lives. You need to get married, raise your own children, get away from the government taking care of you, drop your anger so you can see that I am not your problem. White Americans have been made to feel for the last 50 years or so that they are to blame for the situation in the Black family and in the Black community, when it has nothing to do with white racism, but everything to do with the lack of moral character. So white people are feeling fear if they should speak up. They're called racist, and they are feeling guilt because they feel a sense of responsibility for what's going on when they really have nothing to do with it. So they have all this anger that's starting to build up inside of them. And I am very concerned. I have been concerned for a long time that if they don't open up and express themselves and say no when they're called racist, we're going to see more killing. And I want to be wrong, but we're going to see, especially young white men and women, we're going to see more of them carrying out acts that we just, like the ones we just saw in South Carolina.
Let me ask you a question. Some of the networks on cable especially, this is basically the only story they're covering all day. Bill Donahue of the Catholic League will join us next on this show. And while I was talking to him, and we'll talk about this more on the air, he said that, you know what, I wonder how the media would be handling this. This is, you know, it seems like they have great concern and caring and outpouring of emotion for the people in the church, the fact that the church is historic, and a lot of it is about the church. But he wonders, and we'll talk again, I'll talk about this with him, how the media would cover this had it been a black shooter at the very same church who did the very same thing, granted, you know, not for different reasons, but went in there and shot up 9 people in the church at a prayer service. Would the media be as concerned, if you will, about the church if it had been black on black instead of white on black? What do you say?
Black on black, you would not have heard anything about it. If you would have heard anything, it would have been a small little one segment mention of it. If it was black on black, or if it was a black man killing white people in the church, you would heard little or nothing about it. Barack Obama would not have held a press conference about it. As a matter of fact, Steve, there are black people going around the country today. One incident just happened down in Florence, Alabama, where blacks are attacking white families, fathers, mothers, and children, and you don't hear anything about it. The police are saying, well, we don't know yet if it's a hate crime because it's black on white. Anytime it's the other way around, automatically it's a hate crime in their minds.
Right.
And I just think it's terrible for the country. And somehow or another, we have to stop these liberals from destroying the country as we know it.
Well, you remember, and granted, it was not in the United States of America, but 3 American rabbis were among 5 rabbis who were slaughtered with a hatchet, hacked to death in a Jerusalem synagogue not too long ago. And I remember at the time playing the president's reaction. The president's reaction, when asked about it, he didn't hold a press conference, was basically, oh, you know, acts of terror, blah, 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 blah. And I said, where's your passion? My
That's
God.
Right.
And so you probably have a good point.
You know, in all honesty, yes, people, they care about the people who were killed, of course, but that's not their primary issue. The issue is that a white man killed black people. Now they can come riding in. They can accuse white people. They can redistribute power and wealth.
And the gun issue, as you rightly alluded to earlier, the president was out there before. He even said, we don't know exactly all the circumstances yet, but, and I'm telling you, on his way out the door, he's going to sign an executive order, and it's going to be an attack on the Second Amendment. Hey, great to speak to you.
I don't know how he's sleeping.
Reverend, I got to go, but great speaking to you, sir. Bill Donahue's next. We're coming back.